All right, how to make yourself ready for basic training, no matter what branch that you're joining for the military. Let me explain this to you. You need to work out before you enlist. You need to set a time frame. When do you want to enlist? When it's within the you got an age limit, so you got to figure out when you're going to do this enlistment. So prior to this enlistment, if you're going to do it soon, at least a year before you enlist or you get put on the delayed entry program when you're in high school, and your delayed entry is like a year later after you graduate. This is the time when you need to start working out. I started working out at age 17 in Taekwondo when I started in 1997. I'm 45 years old today. I started at work and I joined the army at 21. So from 17 to 19, I was working it 6 days a week in the Taekwondo dojo, or dojang, I should say dojang, because dojang in Korean. So I was in the dojang working it from 17 to 19. At 19 years old, I became a red belt at 19. Took a little bit of time off at 19 because I needed to go to college by force. I didn't have a choice. My parents made me go to college. And I'm still in their house at 19. So they sent me on my way to Wharton County Junior College in Wharton County to the dormitory for my first semester. Didn't have a car, so they had to drop me off. So I had to temporarily quit Taekwondo and prioritize school. So I'm in college, first semester, second semester, first and second semester, and then I come back home, and then I say, you know what, I'm thinking this college thing is not for me. At this point, I spent 2 years between Wharton and Houston Community College, and I was like, and I'm not even graduated yet, now I'm 21, and I said, you know what, this crap does not interest me. I don't want to do this. Like, what am I going to study this crap for and do? Because I had other plans that involved martial arts. It didn't involve whatever was in that book. It was not interesting me at all. So I called my recruiter. Uh, at the time was Staff Sergeant Figueroa, and I said, "Can you please come and get me the hell out of my mother's house? I need to join the United States Army." So I'm all physically fit, ready to rock because I had my martial arts training. I'm already used. My body's already used to working out 6 days a week. I get into the army, and this shit's a fucking joke. Physical fitness wise, it's a fucking joke because I'm already blowing through everything. I just had to go through the motions. The only thing I had to do is learn the first aid, the CPR, and learn how to fire my weapon. Those are like the main things that I had to learn, was to do the rifle on week 5, CPR, first aid, go through the classroom stuff and basic training, learn how to march. That's the stuff I had to learn. The rest of it, physical fitness, I ate that shit for lunch. The drill sergeant was in my shit about everything else, but when it came to the physical fitness, they didn't really have to say nothing because my drill sergeant was a woman and she was quite impressed with the push-ups that I was cranking out, because I'm used to doing push-ups on my knuckles, the two largest knuckles to be exact. So we're doing push-ups with our like our hands like this, right? So I'm cranking out in like an insane amount of push-ups, and like I'm not even breathing hard. You can hear everybody else groaning and moaning, and the drill sergeant, "Get your ass out of the air." I'm laughing my ass off while I'm pushing, and I'm doing the flutter kicks, and I'm doing the crunches and all the sit-ups and the whatever else. I'm laughing all the way through this shit because it's not even hurting me. I mean, I think my body was so used to exercise that I was like, okay, by week 5 of basic combat training, I had a six pack, a very developed and defined muscles. I'm that way now, but it was even more defined when I was in basic training. I was like, God damn. I said I was looking good. And I was 21 years old. mean, I was looking amazing. The so and then I went through that, finished basic training, did my time in the army, got out. Fast forward 20 years, I'm 100% PNT, disabled veteran of PTSD. I paid my dues and then some. My last job was correctional sergeant. Um, so it pays to be fully prepared for what you're about to do versus the people that don't prepare. They enlist because they meet the bare minimum standards for enlistment, and they have never ran in their life. They've never done a push-up. They've never done a sit-up. And then they have to go to a different unit to be trained to pass their PT test. The nickname was Fat Camp. I don't want to use that terminology, but that's what they called it. That's not the official name, but the drill sergeant called it Fat Camp. And they went off to that, and their job, the drill sergeants over there, their job was to get those soldiers or others, trainees, I should say, in enough physical fitness, fit enough to pass a PT test to where they can be placed back in a basic combat training unit. So that's not even basic training. That is a lot of marching and a lot of running and a lot of a lot of PTing over there to get them to bare bones minimum pass a PT test enough to where they can be put in a basic training unit to where they have a prayer of getting through basic training, because they were not meeting the standards, pretty much that close to getting booted out if they could not meet the standards. So if you enlist in BCT and you end up in that, you better pull your weight. You better do what you got to do, otherwise they will send you home. So yeah, so that was my experience. But yeah, it really helped having my body ready. And I wanted to get the hell out of my parents' house. I was like, this is bullshit. I said, I can do so much more than the bullshit that my mother my mother had plans for my life, believe it or not, and it was bullshit. She was not up to any good. Her plans for my life would have destroyed my life. That's why I said my enlistment in the United States Army, despite how I became disabled, the enlistment is what saved my life. Because whatever plans my mother had, I changed all of the plans on her. I said, you know what? I want to be a professional martial artist. I'm more interested in combat than anything else. Hence the Army enlistment. Because I was like, yeah, I'm going to enlist in the Army. I'm going to do Army things. I was most excited about that shit because combat is something I want to do. I said, okay, I'd rather do combat than have to go to college and open the book and learn some bullshit that I don't want to fucking do. So I had a very high interest in martial arts and combat. And I said, you know what? That enlistment in the United States Army doesn't sound like a bad deal. I said, that's right up my alley. Called my recruiter and I enlisted in that shit. I said, that's exactly what I want. And that's how that came about, because I got tired of my mother choosing stuff for me. I was like, I am done. I said, I am going to choose my destiny. Now I made it through 20 years, got my benefits. Last job ever was correctional sergeant. I stopped working at 39 due to my 100% PNT disability benefits. I get a lot of hate for that. I don't care, but I earned my stuff. I used to run prisons too, so I'm not lazy. I used to have a job until the PTSD took over. So this is what I get for signing up for Army shit. I'm out of here.